Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today we are diving into yet another Natasha Denona eyeshadow palette. This is the Gold Palette. Now I was hesitant to buy this because I'm sure you guys saw the review I had with the Safari palette. That one really didn't work for me. So I felt like it was a little bit risky for me to purchase this one, but I went ahead and I purchased it anyway. So I did two different eye looks. I definitely have some opinions on this. I used as many shadows as I possibly could. I'm going to show you guys swatches. I'm going to tell you guys the details. And then after the two tutorials, I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. So let me show you guys the palette first. So it has like this beautiful gold outside metallic packaging. I think it is stunning. It's just like the same size and everything like the Lila and the Sunset palette, but a metallic. Now on the inside, you have that same sleeve as always with the names on it. It protects the mirror that's in here and these 15 shades. Before I get into the swatches, I'm going to go ahead and read to you what it says on the website. The palette's limited edition. I got mine on Beautylish, but I am going to be reading from the Sephora website. A palette featuring 15 brand new shades in the classic signature Natasha Denona formulas, including matte, metallic, sparkling, and duochrome shades. Currently, it's online only, but it will be available in stores on October 10th. Now, let me get into the swatches. So for the first row, we have Lime Chrome, Python, Sparks, Aria, and Kava. Second row, Aurora, Dijon, Oro, Log, and Varus. And for the last row, we have Brass, Sandstone, Alchemist, Teak, and Arum. I'm not sure how to pronounce that one. I'm going to go ahead and start off with this eye look. I am wearing lashes with this one, and then this next gold one, which I am wearing no lashes in. So let's go ahead and get into the first one. Huurglass number 17 and Dijon, starting on the outer corner. I'm just going to blend this first and slowly work it upward. I'm adding this little by little to the crease and working it upward. Goss number 18 and Python, I'm going to deepen up this outer V. I'm first tapping this into place, getting it where I want it, and then trying to blend right around the edges. I am working this into the crease a little bit. Blending right up and smoking out this outer edge. Going in with a little bit more of Dijon on that Huurglass number 18, and I'm just going right around the edges. And then I'm packing on Python with a 777 from Delia. I really just want this to be pretty dark around the edge, on the outer corner. MAC 242 and Brass. I'm using this dry. I'm going to go over the front half of the lid. I'm just going right over the edge of that blue. I'm going to build this up a little bit. It's still dry. I'm just building it up. Lime Chrome and a 234 from Zoeva. I thought I was going to have to use my finger for this, but I think it's actually working pretty nicely. Goss number 19, I'm taking Dijon on the lower lash line. MAC pencil brush and the last shade in the palette. I'm going to run that along right of the front right here and blend it into Dijon. MAC 242 and Sparks. I'm going to apply that to my brow arch and really just kind of blend that in. I'm also going to apply that to my inner corner, and then I'm going to go add on whatever I feel like doing to my lashes. I'm starting off with the shade Aria on a 227 from Zoeva, starting on this outer corner, and then I'm going to work it upwards. I'm bringing what's left on my brush over into the crease, right over in the front. Adding just a little bit more. MAC 221, I'm going to go ahead and run that same shade right along my lower lash line. Same MAC 221 and the shade Log. Going to deepen up the very outer V. As well as the inner corner. And I'm bringing this up just slightly right, or slightly above the crease, just blending it out. Back in with that 227, no additional product, just going right around the edges. On the MAC 221, I'm taking the shade Oro, and this is Dry. I'm going to put it on both sides. Slightly tapping over the dark shade on the edges. I am using the shade Dry, and it is applying very well. I'm going to go right around the edges, no extra product on the brush, but this is the 221 that had the dark shade on it. Back in with the gold again. I'm leaving a little spot in the center. Taking my finger Dry and the shade Kava, I'm going to put that on the center. And I'm also going to work it up and over, right over where the brow arch is. So basically like up and over. On the lower lash line, I'm going to take the shade Log on the outer corner, as well as the inner corner. Just kind of doing a blend of it. I don't want as much on this inner corner. With my finger, I'm again taking Kava right on the center. Kava on the inner corner with the MAC 228. One more quick little blend with the the Zoeva 227. And then I am just going to go add liner to my inner rim and mascara. All right, to finish off both of the eye looks, I used these same two Milk Makeup Long Wear Gel Eyeliners. I used the shade BCC. This is the nude that I have in my lower inner rim. And then I used, I think the CEO. This is a dark brown instead of black on the top. And then on this look, I put on Kiss Ritzy lashes. So now let's get into my thoughts on the palette. I'm actually a big fan. I am so happy that I am not disappointed, because I was so scared when I'm looking at pictures online. I thought that it looked too similar, like everything looked the same, but in person it's so much better. And then B, my experience with the last palette was just not a good one, and I have tried every single palette from Natasha Denona. So this is welcome in my collection. The first thing I want to note is that I thought it was a whole lot more gold than what it actually is. Like this first shade right here, hopefully you can see on camera, it shifts gold and green. And it looks more green. That's what I have right in here, and it's beautiful. And then this one down here, the same thing. It's a little bit more green. Looking online, it looked like both of these shades were just another shade of gold. And when I was trying to take pictures of this, it still was showing up gold, so I didn't even try taking any pictures. And I love that there's all the different sheens in here, so there's different textures, so it's not like you're going to create the same kind of look. These two right here are more like toppers, or I don't know how to explain them. It's very similar to the Tom Ford toppers that are in the quads, but I think these are just a little bit more shimmery. You can use them with your finger like I did. I have this at my brow arch and I just think it's absolutely stunning. Very thin, and it worked really well with my MAC 242, and it worked really well with my finger. When I tried to use it wet, it was a little weird. So if you're trying to get more of an impact, like if you wanted one of those two shades all over the lid, I would suggest just not setting your primer and going in with your finger. And then this duochrome shade, oh my goodness, it is so beautiful. It reminded me a lot of the shade in the recent Pat McGrath. This is the Bronze Seduction, so it reminded me a lot of this one, but this shade definitely has more intensity, more glitter to it. Not necessarily glitter, but like zhuzh and sparkle and shine. So they're not the same, but they definitely have like that same kind of look to them, especially when you pair this shade here and this shade. I just think that is beautiful. I had no issues with the mattes this time, which I'm gonna be honest, I didn't expect, because when I was swatching these, I don't remember, I think it was this shade here and Dijon, I don't remember. I'm sure you can see in the swatches, some of them had like a little bit of extra, like they weren't even. So I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to be a mess again. So they didn't swatch as well as I would have liked them to, but they applied on the eyes much better. I love Dijon. I love that the name of this is Dijon because of like the mustard, you know? I just think it's cool. This is an actual true like old formula style metallic, and that makes me so happy. I would say that this one is too, but this one is a little bit more on the flaky side. If you use it wet, it's going to be easier on you, but you don't have to. You are going to get a little bit of fallout with this palette, but that's up to you if you mind it or not. I swept it away. My makeup was already done and I had no problems with it. The gold down here, it went on just perfectly well. This is the closest to her old formula that I have seen in a while. Like, I'm really, really happy with it. Now, this shade right here is kind of like the shade in the Safari palette. The thing that makes this different, like it was a little bit difficult to work with. I did have to pack it on, and that step that I took with the Delium tools and packing it on, I did that same thing in the Safari palette, and I tried it again that night. It just didn't work because it was a matte and it blended away. The reason why this one worked better and actually stayed where I wanted it to stay is because this is not a matte. It feels kind of like a satin. It says CP. I don't remember what it stands for, but it has a little bit of a sheen to it. Like, hopefully you can see that right there. You don't see a lot of that sheen on the eye, but it helps it to adhere and stay in place and blend out. So I was so happy to see that that wasn't an actual matte in here and that it actually worked. I really genuinely didn't have any other issues. That was the hardest shade to work with right here. And like I said, this one right here is a little bit flaky, so I just packed it on. Still did not have to use it wet. And then I really thought I was gonna have to go in with this one with my finger, and I didn't have to. Like, I really, really, really like this palette. This palette has definitely restored some faith in Natasha Denona, and if you are looking at buying this, I definitely would suggest it. I think that you'll be happy with it. It's beautiful. It really, truly is. And I know that it seems like you're not gonna get a whole lot of different looks, but you will because of the different textures and everything. So anywho, that is my verdict. It is a win. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.